Maharashtra Governor Koshyari now, who's back in action post his COVID. He was being treated for COVID at the hospital. He's now back at the office. Maharashtra Governor Koshyari now writes to Mumbai Commissioner of Police as well as the DGP. The Maharashtra Governor says, and I quote, directed security for Shinde camp. This was expected. This comes just moments after the centre has decided to give Y+ security for most of the Shinde camp MLAs. Remember, we're looking at Shiv Sena Thackeray loyalists running amok in most parts of Mumbai. Many of the rebel MLAs, their offices have been vandalized. In fact, at this point, looking at the tense situation and considering that many of the rebellions who've gone against Uddhav Thackeray are not safe, here is Bhagat Singh Koshyari, the Maharashtra Governor, who has just returned to office post-COVID-19. He writes to Mumbai Commissioner of Police as well as the DGP and directs security for the Shinde camp. Now, this was inevitable considering that Mumbai now, in many parts of the city, seeing protesters, mostly Shiv Senics who are loyal to the Thackerays, who have come out, vandalizing property of many of the rebel MLAs, almost in a sense of threat or warning that if you do not come back to the Thackerays fold, then you see, we will ensure that you regret this. This is a warning that the Shiv Senics on ground are giving out indirectly by vandalizing property and indulging in violence of such nature. And what's surprising is that Uddhav Thackeray, who claims to be the Chief Minister up until now, has so far not directed his camp, his cadre, the Shiv Senics to stay calm, to stay away from violence. So far, there has been no strong direction. Section 144 implemented in most parts of Mumbai, unfortunately not imposed the way it should be. Here is the Maharashtra Governor now stepping in, looking at the dilapidated law and order security situation within the state of Maharashtra and in Mumbai. Bhagat Singh Koshyari now writes to the Chief Commissioner of Police as well as the DGP asking for security for the Shinde camp. Let me cut across to Vidya joining us live for more on that. Vidya, we're looking at Bhagat Singh Koshyari back in action, and it's tragic that it's the governor now who's got to take a close look at the law and order situation in the city, Mumbai, as well as the state of Maharashtra. So far, despite Section 144, we didn't see adequate imposition of that prohibitory orders in most parts of Mumbai. Shiv Senics loyal to the Thackeray's, they're running amok. At this point, looking at the safety and security of the Shinde camp, Koshyari orders for security to be up for many of those rebels. But they're not coming to Mumbai anytime soon. So where does this direction go?
Well, you know, these are obviously just recommendations that he has given. Remember, it's not the governor's rule as yet. You know, Uddhav Thackeray is the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and at this juncture, the government is being run by the Chief Minister led by Uddhav Thackeray and the MVA. So at this moment, you know, the Governor Koshyari, what he has said is only a recommendatory part. Right now, he's not passing any orders. Because there is no governor's rules, yes, but it might, you know, trigger a question by, you know, by people in the government actually asking why is he intervening at this juncture when the government is still in its order. It's not, they have not resigned, they have not put in their papers, they are still in the position of holding the government of Maharashtra. So at this juncture, the government as yet is contemplating what it can do to save the face that it has right now with Uday Samant, another minister also leaving, with now barely, you know, skeleton remains of the entire cabinet that used to be once with the Shiv Sena part of the entire cabinet which used to be with the MVA government. Only remains of it are there with just Aditya Thackeray and couple of more ministers remaining here. Rest everyone being in the Shinde camp. It would certainly be interesting to see what really happens now and why is it that Eknath Shinde is not moving any further than writing a couple of letters to the Deputy Secretary, Deputy Speaker as yet. So certainly things will probably happening more in the coming week is what everyone's really expecting.
Right, you know, at this point, from what we see, Aditya Thackeray has been sending out appeals, in a way, on one hand, trying to coax and pacify those rebels, on the other, at the same time, taking up the challenge that if you really want to fight, then we're willing to fight. What comes as a massive embarrassment, and you did mention also, Vidya, is that Uday Samant, who's known to be a close aide of Aditya Thackeray, has pulled out support from him at this point and from the Thackeray camp altogether. So doesn't seem like all these clarion calls put forth by the Thackeray clan are really somehow it's resonating with the rebellion camp altogether. It seems like time and again all those appeals are falling flat.
Certainly, it did seem so. The various pleadings that we had seen on the first day itself, where Uddhav Thackeray himself had gone on to social media lives and pleaded and requested the people who were in Guwahati, in Surat at that time, to come back and speak to him face to face. However, no one did. In fact, there were various allegations leveled against him itself as to how he was running his administration. After that, the mode of communication really changed. Everyone here, including Sanjay Raut, including Uddhav Thackeray and Aditya Thackeray, they changed the way they were speaking out to the revolting MLAs, including Eknath Shinde. They refused to accept that they are not traitors. They were being called traitors. That when they would come back, they would be treated the way they should be. Things like that being said, and immediately after that, 6 resolutions being passed in Shiv Sena Bhavan yesterday, wherein they made sure two things which were very extremely important. One being that the MLAs, whoever will take action, that will only be Uddhav Thackeray, and he was given a free hand to deal with the MLAs in the way he wanted. And secondly, which was very important, is that because the MLAs who were in Guwahati had decided to keep a name of their group, of the number of 40 people that they had, of a name which had a Thackeray name in it. Shiv Sena Thackeray is what it said. Against that as well, the resolution was passed wherein it was said that the Thackeray name cannot be used by anyone else apart from the Shiv Sena, which is right here in Mumbai.
Right.
So certainly at this juncture there is a lot of confrontation happening from both sides, but it remains to be seen what really happens tomorrow, especially on Monday, when the Deputy Speaker will be passing an order on the entire disqualification recommendation that the Shiv Sena led by Thackeray has sought.
Yeah.